Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. It is free to follow me. Free to follow me on this channel, Anonymous Tea. Free to follow me on my other channel, Anonymous Tea Podcast. There is new content over there. Follow me on the Tickety Talk at Anonymous Tea Podcast. Free to follow me on the Instagram. On the Instagram, he's at Anonymous Reality Tea. Free to share everywhere. Free to like the video so it gets out to the algorithm. Free to share with your family, your friends, and your foes, and coming or going, hit the like button. So today we're talking fucking Dineva. Today we're talking TJF, y'all. Because it's a hot mess. It is a hot mess. What has happened? What are you talking about, TJF? Wasn't TJF canceled? That would be correct, you boys. That would be correct. But apparently, allegedly, Funky Dineva wants to get the band back together. Funky Dineva wants a reunion, you guys. And I'm just confused. I am just confused because I thought Funky Dineva left Fox Soul because he was unhappy with his contract, said that $250K was not enough money for him, that he made more money on YouTube, and all of this and all of that. And then there was issues because he was upset with them that they had the audacity to contact him since he quit the company. They had the audacity to contact him for him to send back the equipment that was required for him to do his job. So he was upset about that. And then him and, he had his issues with Claudia Jordan. It seemed like him and Al Reynolds were still cool or whatever. And, and then when everything fell apart, when they had, the replacements they were trying to bring in, and he was going live at the same time as Fox Soul and everything. And then did the interview with Carlos King about Fox Soul, talked about Armand Wiggins and everything else. And then the show, after the whole, birthday roast of Al Reynolds and the alleged comments about Star Jones and everything else. And then the show, it was no more, y'all. It was no more. Well, Funky Dineva decided last night to reignite this flame. And again, I'm confused because just a couple of months ago, he said on his same platform that he's been in negotiations for his own show. For his own 1-hour show, that he had a $1.5 million budget that he had to send over to the people and everything else. However, they denied his, what he put in the alleged proposal because they said that they couldn't afford his salary. But last night, y'all, I don't know if he was trying to throw shade that he really didn't want to do an interview with Raleigh. I don't know. But he said he wanted to get the band back together. He wanted to get him and Claudia Jordan and him and Al Reynolds back together. And that he is relating to the unsung episodes, the show that comes on TV1 that highlights groups, entertainers in the Black community and Black entertainment, Black Hollywood, that did not have the careers that they were supposed to have, whether something happened in the music industry or something happened in the person's personal life or whatever, but they should have been a lot bigger of an artist or a lot bigger actor or whatever than what their career ended up turning out to be. And so he said that he saw how on Unsung, how people's egos can ruin groups and how that can basically tear apart the groups and everything else and all of this. And so then he says, outside of any personal problems or whatever, he feels that that was the driving force of the TJF collapsing, was essentially people's egos. And he says as well that he would work with them again, would work with Claudia and Al Reynolds again, that they had lightning in a bottle, that, nobody should be tricking anybody out of anybody's money. and that everybody should be getting paid the same. Everybody should be having the same roles. Nobody should have any additional titles as like a producer, executive producer, or whatever. Feels that nobody should be higher than anybody. Everything should be equal. It should be considered as a collaboration, a collaborative pitch. Nobody should have any separate dressing rooms. Let's get to the money. Let's get to the bag. We can all make money. We can all win. Let's, pick up where we left off. Claudia Jordan, we got this, da 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 da. Here's the thing. I think what has happened, you guys, and I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I think what Funky Dineva is upset about and why he's saying this is he is seeing what is taking place weekly now on, Carlos King's platform, which is, I kept saying it, I've been saying it for weeks, that Carlos King is doing his own recreation of TGIF on Monday nights with Dustin and Claudia Jordan. It's literally the same type of show that they're doing, where they're having a kiki, they're talking about trending topics, and then they transition into, the Housewives or Married to Medicine or whatever shows that are on Bravo, right? And I was like, I wonder what, Funky Dineva thinks about this, because for all intents and purposes, prior to this, it was made to seem as though he wasn't fooling with Claudia like that. But I think he's seeing the numbers. I think he's seeing the engagement. I think he's seeing the reaction. Whether the people like Claudia Jordan or not, he's seeing all of it. And he wants in. He wants in. Like that's as simple as it gets. It's as simple as that. The last video that they did, let me just give y'all the numbers. The last few episodes of, Carlos King, Dustin, and Claudia Jordan. This last Monday, this had 82,000 views. The Monday prior to that had 73,000 views. The week prior to that had 105,000 views. The week prior to that had 92,000 views. The week prior to that had 74,000. The week prior to that, 63,000. And I think the first time that they did this, because I think they've done they've been at this almost 2 months. The very first episode, they had 56,000. So they're getting a lot of strong numbers doing this show together. And like I said, that one show getting over 100,000 views is a lot. It is a lot, you guys. So I think Funky Dineva is thinking to himself, like, we can monopolize that, we can do all of that. But I'm just confused with Funky Dineva, because it's like, I thought you were friends with all these people, like the Carlos Kings of the world and everything else. Like, why does it take for somebody else to take something that you already had and already were a part of for you now to be like, oh, I realized that maybe I was doing too much. Let's get the band back together. Like this is who Carlos King is, right? This is who Carlos King is. He sees what other people are doing and he puts his own spin on it, and then people talk about it. But when you had all of this, when you had it, when it was you, Claudia, and Al Reynolds, it didn't last. What's the problem? There was too much infighting. There was too much behind the scenes nonsense going on. And, and then the thing too that was funny about this was Funky Dineva took no accountability. He's blaming this all on the fact that it's all Al Reynolds and Claudia Jordan's fault. No. No, because here's the thing, right? If you really wanted this to work, there wouldn't have had to be any messy behind the scenes gossiping. We all know that one live that Al Reynolds did where he was pissed off regarding the birthday roast when he called in on Funky Dineva, and Funky Dineva was like, what happened, or whatever. You knew that there was problems in that friendship, and if you really wanted to work, you could have been sat down Al Reynolds and said, listen, looky here, I understand you and Claudia aren't seeing eye to eye, but let's get to the money, let's get to the bag, let's be professional, let's keep it moving. Let's just do the show, and then outside the show, it's going to be what's going to be. But like, but all that stuff, all that side conversation, all the mess and everything else, all that stuff spilled over. All of that stuff spilled over, you guys. So I feel like this is more about the fact that Carlos King is getting a lot of views with his reinterpretation, his reimagined version of TGIF on Monday nights. And I think that's really what has Funky Dineva feeling a certain type of way. I think that's what it is. I think that is what it is. Carlos King is getting views. Carlos King, people are, busy in the chat saying, oh, bring Claudia back. We love having Claudia on. We love her perspective on things and da-da-da-da-da-da. I really think that's what it is. I think had this not happened, I don't think we would have heard anything from Funky Dineva. I really don't. But I think because their reviews, their episodes, their recaps, that is causing, a lot of people to do their own reactions. A lot of clips are going viral on the neighborhood talk, on the Shade Room, and everything else with certain comments, especially as it pertains to Real Housewives of Atlanta. That's getting clipped and that's going to the blogs. And that's what used to happen with TGIF. If they said something controversial, or if they said something that they felt was, going to get the people's attention on an opinion they had on a trending topic or whatever, that was going to hit the blogs. So I think that now all of a sudden, because you see somebody doing it and it's successful and there's not hate, there's not backlash, there's not all this and all of this rigmarole, and there's chemistry, people are getting along, you want back in on the action. Talking about you could get your person together and we can go back and pitch the show. No, what? And listen, Claudia, I know that you said that you would work with Funky Dineva again, right? Despite all the shade and all the subliminals and everything else. But here's my thing. All this back and forth, all this shade, all of this, all of that, like if you really thought that y'all had a lightning in the bottle, why didn't you stay there? Why didn't you stay there? You said you chose yourself. You said you weren't happy with the pay. You said there was some other stuff that was going on behind the scenes. You said there were all these problems. But the moment, and you said as recent as a few months ago, that they were pitching you a show for you to do your own 1 hour show by yourself. And all of this and all of that. So how do we go from that just a couple of months ago? Oh, that's right. Because after that, it was when these videos started happening every week of Claudia, Carlos King, and Dustin. And that's the thing. Carlos King will pick up your people like Pokemon cards. He will collect your people up, whether you're friends with them or not, or fall out with them or not, like Infinity Stones, right? And he'll put his own spin on things, his own interpretation of something that's already been done, and then people will talk about it because they'll be like, oh, that's Carlos King. He's produced Real Housewives of Atlanta. He's produced Love and Marriage Huntsville. Let's see what he's got going on over there. So it's very interesting timing to me because, like I said, I kind of see through what this is really about. And what this is really about is, the fact of the matter that he's seeing this thrive in another interpretation of it, in another format, and he wants in on the success of it all because it is going viral, like how Claudia Jordan went viral a few weeks ago when she made the comment she did about her investigating Britt's background and whether or not she had her insurance license and all that stuff. That used to be Funky Dineva. He used to be the one going viral and being all over the shade room and all over the neighborhood talk. That used to be Funky Dineva. Right? Whether it was, talking about Chloe Bailey, whether it's talking about Blue Ivy, that used to be Funky Dineva. They would clip it and boom. That would be one of the viral stories for the day. But it shouldn't have to take Carlos King doing all of this on YouTube for you to have your wake-up call. And I think that's really kind of like the root of the issue at hand, is seeing Carlos King basically do what he always does, by the way, for people to be like, wait a minute, I was in my feelings, I was being petty, and da-da-da-da-da. But I'm here to tell you, Claudia Jordan, like if you want to go back to this, and at any drop of the hat, the moment something goes left again or somebody gets pissed again, they just want to torpedo the whole show and go live the same time as y'all and everything else. People already show you who they are and how they are. And you already said some of the behind the scenes stuff that Al Reynolds did, like it's never going to happen again. So at this point, you have to decide, are you willing to go through all of this again? Just for the sake to have this show back? Or are you looking to parlay this thing that you got going with Carlos King and Dustin into something else, into something greater, and see where the chips may fall? So that's it. That's all I got for this video. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.